we see Uzumaki Naruto standing on top of a cliff, looking at the world ending beast. The 10 tails. 10 massive tails swaying around rapidly. The Sage's six paths was being pushed back because his brother had been swatted away from the battle by the 10 tails. Naruto then looked on as he unsheathed his blade. He then smiled as he launched off of the cliff at rapid pace. He swung down his blade, getting ready to attack the 10 tails. As his blade hit the 10 tails, it sliced clean through the massive hand which was going towards the Sage's six paths. Naruto then disappeared and reappeared. As he had his blade, in a downward stance, he began to unleash his golden chakra as he focused his energy onto one point in his body. He then unleashed a massive burst of chakra, which sent the 10 tails massive hand, which was falling down, back into the air as Naruto launched off. He grabbed onto one of the fingers and swung with a massive amount of strength as he used his own hand, the 10 tails' own arm, to bat it back. As then, a man within the Tensei cloak arrived as he breathed in heavily. Bro, as the Sage's six paths looked on, "Who are you?" the Sage said. "Think of me." "No, don't think of me as nothing. Just call me. Call me the strongest of the 7 gods. Me and our buddy here have been at war for billions of years now, and I think it's time that I end his rampage," Naruto said. "Isn't that right?" The first god of calamity. As the 10 tails began to shrink, as it then turned into a human-like figure. "Naruto," it said, gritting its teeth. "I can't believe that I'm related to such a weak bastard," he said as he flew forth, kicking the 10 tails with 100% as the 10 tails flew back. "That's all you've got?" he said as he forced his hand forward as tails began to shoot out of his hand towards Naruto. "It's not, brother," he said as he then grabbed onto the tail, slamming it and grabbed onto the tails, redirecting them back towards his brother. As his golden cloak appeared, Naruto and the 10 tails began to battle, as the 10 tails went into his own cloak. With every single blow, fractions of the world shaped as the world was in turmoil. The Sage's six paths could only look on at the immense display. "Damn it, brother," Naruto said as he pulled back his fist as he punched forward, sending the 10 tails back a bit, leaving him enough time to quickly pull out his blade as fast as he could as he rushed towards the 10 tails with the one-handed sword style as he slung down rapidly. as the Ten Tails then smiled. You're still using that weak blade? He said as then claws began to grow out of his claws then got sharper as he sliced completely through the blade. As Naruto looked shocked, he jumped back. Damn it, Naruto said. His brother had been traveling with the help of a race that he had created called the Osatsutsuki around from world to world, consuming them. He was a lot of trouble. You do know that Ares won't be. That Ares will come for you if I die right now in this battle, Naruto said, as he knew that if he was able to cut the blade which he had forged, then he was most likely gonna die. I could care less about older brother Ares. I only care about vengeance, he said as his claws then detached themselves, turning into a blade as he rushed forward. Naruto then smiled as his chakra turned into a blade. We will decide this battle, eternal brother, he yelled out as they both flew forth. The blade went down rapidly. As both blades met in the middle, Naruto struggled, now using both hands, as the Ten Tails was struggling himself. Damn it, the Ten Tails said, as then he smiled. Then a tiny fruit appeared within his hand. As a mouth then appeared on his hand, he consumed the fruit. As he then pushed on, completely surpassing his brother. As he slung the blade down, Naruto was shocked. Damn, those the world-ending powers. You're using your world-ending powers. You do know if you use those, this precious planet that you've been trying to form will die and decay. I don't care, brother. And why are you holding back? I didn't want to destroy the contents of this planet, Naruto said, as he flew towards the Ten Tails. Good, because you won't be able to, he said as the Ten Tails flew towards Naruto. With the final strike being delivered, a flash of light appeared. But to both the Ten Tails and Naruto's shock, two hands landed on their backs. Infinite sealing art. Planetary seal. Both sages said, as Naruto and the Ten Tails flew up towards the sky. Earth began to crumble up and push into them as it came together. Infinite moon perfection, both men said, as Hagoromo then finally sighed. It looks like it's the end, he said, as he then walked off. As then he fell down towards the ground, breathing heavily. I don't know who that guy was, Hagoromo said, but he seemed to be brother of the Ten Tails. He's no good. He's no good in my eyes. As they both walked in the same direction, they limped towards the monastery. where they met their mother. Well, after they had defeated their brother with the Sage of Six Paths in Hamura, using extra chakra that the two were letting off, they were able to force Kage's power up into the moon. But Naruto wasn't having it. He wouldn't he wouldn't be a godly figure, then reduced to such a weak form, such as being sealed within a hollow ball. He wouldn't allow it. So he did one of his most strongest jutsu that he had created, the infinite reincarnation jutsu, which allowed his reincarnation to slowly siphon off his chakra. And his memories, once 100% was hit, his memories, well, all of his memories would come back. But from now, he will leave his reincarnation with a bit of his chakra and memories on his train. Nine Tails attack. Kushina sat on the table as she pushed as hard as she could. Her chakra was pretty much almost drained because of the fact that she was literally giving birth to a child. That's why her regenerative factor was like, I'm down, plus the seal is down, everything's down, basically. Because she had lost a lot of chakra because of giving birth or some bull crap like that. Because I'm pretty sure, I am pretty sure that Kushina could slap Minato's ass if they were enemies. I'm pretty sure that she would send this nigga flying, use her Kenjutsu style, her water style, her wind style, her yin release. Y'all know that she had the yin release, didn't y'all? Y'all didn't know that until I checked it out. She could literally create, like shit, she could create fucking a massive sword and shove it through his chest. She could fucking create buildings and just make them fall down on them. She was fucking OP. Plus, with the yin release, she would be able, with her chakra, she would be able to instantly destabilize the Horizon seal. And just be like, fuck you. Grab onto that kunai and disable it. And he's just like, flash. Where's my flash? Like right through his chest with the blade. Like, I don't know if y'all know that, but she was pretty powerful. In canon, she was like God mode raw in canon. I'm surprised that she didn't get more credit. Anyway, Naruto stood forth. Well, as everything went in canon as usual, then except Naruto was born with a massive amount of chakra. By the way, the excess amount of chakra that I spoke of originally that they used to fill up Kage, the rest of it was used to create the 9 beasts. So they're gonna be at the same power. They're gonna be at the same power as canon. Just as the 10 tails are gonna be a lot stronger. No, it's more like the 10 tails is not refined. He had all of this power but he was stomping around, doing small bijou bombs and all that shit. If he was more refined, like what I placed in his human form, he would be able to wipe out the entire planet with one single jutsu. But he's actually stronger than Ken. He's actually stronger than Ken and Jubi, though. The Naruto? Yeah. Except Naruto was born with golden blonde hair. Within his back was engraved the seventh god of calamity. The seventh god of calamity. Naruto. Anyway. We skip 5 years later. We see Naruto within a training field. As his memories of training flooded into him yesterday. So he's going to train like hell. But while he was training, he heard a voice within his head. And once he tried to reply, he was pulled into this strange world. As Naruto said, "Who are you? Where are you? What was that voice?" Those are all of the questions that Naruto asked. As a woman, as 5 people walked out. A man who looked oddly like Naruto, but extremely muscular. It was like that slim muscular. Because the God version of Naruto, he didn't look that much slim muscular. He was more of a really, really compact muscular. This dude, he looked slim muscular. Like, y'all should know the difference. Except his black hair shined bright. There was a woman with hair which looked like the night. Stars ridiculed throughout her hair. She wore a purple dress. "I am," she said while looking towards Naruto. "I am Venus." The man then hit his chest 2 times and said, "I am Aries." As another man who seemed more quiet than the others then walked out from Aries' shadow. He wore clothes similar towards King. In fact, he was basically King in his slim form, not that big, beefy, fat boy form. Where he was like, "I'm gonna eat your planet. I'm gonna eat your planet. I'm gonna eat your planet. I'm so fat, okay?" Like, he was like the way that he looked, it was disrespectful. I don't even think that I like that little man. Anyway, Naruto looked forth. But yeah. Alright, thinking about it. Oh yeah, there we go. Izanagi, Aries, and yeah, this dude. "I am Kami," the man said. If y'all don't know, Kami means God. So, yeah. As Naruto then said, "You mean God?" "Sure, many people refer to me as different names," he said, before before standing up a bit more proud. Then a man who seemed to have the coldest eyes ever stepped out of the shadows. His eyes were cold. He had short black hair, which was similar towards who can I think of? Gun. Well, no, not Gun. He was more of a slut. He was more of, his hair was like just basically the spike down. You know the spike down where the spikes everywhere and it's all coming down instead of pointing up. Yeah, so yeah. It wasn't like a bold cut because we don't like bold cuts because them bitches be ugly. But ugly as a bitch. As Naruto looked towards the man. I am 80. No. I am Shinigami, he said. As then another man walked out of the shadows. He seemed more adultish than the rest. He seemed more silly, but stern. He was kind of like Lucifer from the show Lucifer. He kind of looked like his personality was kind of like that. Like Lucifer. Except he doesn't have all the daddy issues. It's mac and cheese. It's mac and cheese. Come on. Anyway. Finally, we get up as his hair as they all then look towards Naruto. So, little brother, you finally reincarnated. He said, with a smile on his face. I'm glad that bastard, Jubi, got locked up in the moon, he said. Ares said while tapping his chest. As the only woman of the group looked towards him, as she ran up towards Naruto and hugged him tightly, tears streamed down her eyes. She surprisingly, her voice was sweet. It was so sweet, in fact, that Naruto felt as if he had eaten 10 bags of candy just from hearing her voice. It's like, as she looked towards Naruto. Brother, I'm sorry for leaving you in the human realm with your powers restricted. With Jubi, she said. As Naruto just looked confused. What do you mean? Naruto said, as she then began to explain. You see, a very, very long time ago, 7 gods appeared within the universe. They all had their respective abilities in their own courts. It's like Jubi had one of the more unpleasant personalities. He believed that everything was for him to take and for him only. And his mentality led to his demise because of the fact that we believed that if he got out of control, he devoured the entire universe. We sealed his power away, she said, as a marble appeared within her hand. And since all of us gods could create massive devastation, and the Jubi insisted, we all had decided on one thing. And that was to seal all of our powers away. We didn't want to accidentally destroy the universe. As a result, we were pushed towards a weaker forms. While we sat down, overseeing the universe, Jubi, even with his power restricted, he knew that he was stronger than most of the universe with his powers restricted. So, he decided the best way to regain his powers were to eat planets. And since he couldn't fight against us, who were all against him at the time, he had decided the best way to go more undercover was to create a race. Using his powers of creation, he created a race called the Osasuskis. This race dominated over the universe, eating planet after planet. With the help of the Jubi, they think that they created the Jubis, but the Jubis are just truly fractions of his soul, and power tossed into Osasuski. He is hoping to regain his full power, and he would have done it if it weren't for you, she said. And let me better tell you, all 7 of us have specific roles. Within these roles that we serve. Oh yeah, the Lucifer-like one his name was Akuma. Yeah, Akuma. To deal, all of us have different roles, which we play the best at, which got us our titles. We require 2 gods of calamity. Since the Jubi couldn't take up the title because of his mental state. Well, since the Jubi was perfect for the title because of his mental state, we appointed him. He gained the title God of Calamity. But unlike you, he took his role too serious because of his mental state. As a result, half of the universe was destroyed, which is where I step in. She said, I am the goddess of creation. She said, and let me better introduce myself. I am the goddess of creation, Izanagi. Then the man Then a man stepped forward. I am the god. I am the god of destruction. Well, no. And then Ares stepped forward. I am Ares, god of benevolence and resources. I supply resources towards the people of the universe so they can grow. Then the more shy one stepped forth. I, he said, am the god. I am the god of peace. Whoa. Wait. Izanagi Ares. Kami. Akuma. And Shinigami, Shinigami. I forgot about him a bit. I am the goddess of peace. I am the god of peace, he said, stepping back. As then, the one with the cold eyes then stepped forward. I am the god. I am the god. I am the god of balance. I use my powers to direct the balance between all. And finally, the man who seemed less serious stepped up. I am the god of wishes. I can grant anything you want, anytime. But for a price, he said with a smile on his face. And since I'm your brother, I am to assume that since you are all different and there were two gods of calamity, I'm one of the gods of calamity? Naruto said. Correct. You are Naruto. Naruto. Void. You are Naruto Void. The god of calamity. You see, you serve more as a god of destruction, while the other god of calamity serves more as a god of erasing. The Jubi was meant to erase large areas if these areas become too venomous towards the universe. While you go about destroying planets, whether based on whether they are useful towards the universe to help it thrive. Aren't those basically the same thing? Naruto said. No, she said. Let me tell you more, she said, as she and them both and everyone then turned around as they walked towards a black zone of nothingness. And that was the end of What If Naruto Was a God? Part 1.